Welcome to Enlightenment at the Movies, the film series where we review the films that have entertained us and look at where they may have enlightened us as well. The film classic I want to review today is The Matrix, the 1999 masterpiece by the Wachowski family that changed cinema forever and pushed the boundaries of how films explore the nature of reality. In the story, The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world designed and run by machines in an unknown future to keep the human race under control. People are kept sedated in sleep pods that are housed in vast colonies, while their subconscious minds are plugged into the Matrix virtual world. They are, in effect, living a virtual life. The hero of our story is Thomas Anderson, or Neo, a computer hacker who gets in trouble with the authorities and ends up going down a terrifying rabbit hole to discover that he is trapped in the Matrix and that machines have enslaved humanity. But when Neo meets a band of resistance fighters led by the enigmatic Morpheus, he is drawn into a rebellion against the machines, and he discovers his unique destiny as the One the rebels have been waiting for to lead them. When I first saw this film, I was blown away by it, and by how powerfully it symbolized a spiritual principle found at the core of Hinduism and Advaita Vedanta philosophy, a principle that quantum physics has increasingly explored in the last decade, and that is that the world is a consciousness-created virtual reality or hologram, created by consciousness and with consciousness playing all the parts. In the film, a higher intelligence has created the Matrix world that people believe they are living in. Like Neo's character, many of us sense at times that we are living in a false reality or hologram, that the world isn't how it appears, and we wonder if there is some great conspiracy at the heart of it, and a deeper reality being hidden from us, which is why so many people are drawn into conspiracy theories, because we sense the anomalies within the program we call reality. The difference is, in the film, each person is a separate entity housed in a shell somewhere, and the truth behind the Matrix is grim. Whereas in spiritual understanding, we discover that we are all the same consciousness that plays all the parts, and the reality behind the illusion is transcendent, not grim. As the legendary photographer Ansel Adams said, "The world is incomprehensibly beautiful. There is magic and wonder for eyes who know how to look with curiosity and love." What we learn on the spiritual journey is that consciousness is dimensionless, so it creates the illusion of this dream world by expanding simultaneously in all directions, expressing itself like a billion fingers on one hand, opening up to create the different points of view of itself, to see and experience itself. And every finger is the different point of view of a sentient being in our virtual reality, an animal, plant, or living thing. So we are all the same consciousness, playing and interrelating with itself for the sake of experience. As Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. One of the most powerful moments in The Matrix comes at the end of the film, when Neo was able to stop the bullets fired at him in the virtual reality world. When he survives an experience that surely should have killed him in that moment, we as viewers experience intuitively what our protagonist Neo has realized. That not only is the Matrix a simulation, but that all reality is a simulation. His awareness has made a quantum leap. In learning the illusion behind the Matrix, he has unconsciously realized the illusion behind all apparent realities. He has realized that the experience we call the real world is a matrix or dream reality too. And the real illusion we get trapped in is created by our egos. By seeing ourselves as separate from the other objects of creation, we identify so much with one little finger called by our name that we lose contact with the source that gave birth to the dream that we find ourselves in. We forget that we are in a dream, and that we are the dreamer who has created this appearance of a world inside a little invention called time and space. We forget that there is nothing other than ourselves as that dreamer or awareness, and we fixate on our human identity on one little finger. We identify and fixate so much on this part of ourselves that we forget the whole. So that is the real matrix that begins to dissolve as we accept living this human life while at the same time experiencing ourselves as the dreamer or architect behind the dream, as the awareness that appears as everything else. Our bodies may still be limited by physical reality, but they no longer contain or restrain our consciousness. Like Neo, our awareness begins to transcend this narrow definition of ourselves as merely flesh and blood in a physical world and universe, to understand that we are the awareness that experiences the virtual reality, and in fact, we are the virtual reality as well. We are the dreamer and the dream. The spiritual teacher Rupert Spira uses the analogy of John Smith and King Lear, with John Smith being cosmic consciousness and King Lear being the personal, individual consciousness. In the analogy, John Smith dreams he is King Lear, and for a while in the dream, John Smith really believes he is King Lear, as we are taught by our parents and society that we are an individual entity. But at one point in the dream, the identity of King Lear is just too confining for John Smith, and he awakens within the dream to remember that he is John Smith, the dreamer who has not only dreamed King Lear, but has dreamed all the other characters in the story and the dream itself. He still operates as King Lear within the dream, but he no longer feels limited by that identity. He is lucid dreaming, being an individual human, while knowing himself as the totality of consciousness. But how can knowing this benefit me in real life, you might wonder? Well, imagine for a moment how this knowledge could change your point of view on life. We've been taught to believe that we're a finite, fragile organism with a limited lifespan, and when we die, we're gone forever, or possibly sent to a terrible place, or a pleasant but vaguely defined nice place. So we're either heading for oblivion or a 50-50 chance at eternal misery. Pretty grim picture. And everything negative that happens to us in this life, all the slights, rejections, disappointments, or attacks, are threatening our small, fragile being or identity. Now, how do you think your point of view might change to discover that you aren't King Lear, but are in fact John Smith? That your true nature isn't this small, endangered human creature, but infinite consciousness. That when the body passes, you merely wake up into your larger, unbounded nature as love. That in fact, you were always that infinite awareness, and have been merely dreaming yourself as this person, just like we dream that we are different characters in our sleeping dreams. How might it change your point of view to know that you are always safe, loved, and cannot die? That in fact, you are love? Is it possible that you might feel more relaxed about life and physical death knowing this? That there might be less stress, neuroses, and conflict in the world if we all knew this? If we knew that we were all the same larger awareness having this experience with itself? None of this is to say we should ignore or dismiss the limitations of these bodies or not value our lives. This is a very well designed virtual reality. The pain and sensations we experience are powerful and they have to be respected. And these dream lives are a loving gift from our source. They are the most precious and beautiful gift in creation and not to be thrown away. As the dreamer, we have dreamed these lives for the express purpose of loving ourselves in form. Every life is a magical opportunity to experience and share that love. These lives are meant to be treasured. But just like Neo in the film, the architecture of the Matrix is also meant to be discovered and transcended. We are meant to awaken to the truth. We are meant to remember that we are John Smith playing King Lear. We are meant to remember that we are the dreamer, even as we play a character within the dream. We are meant to realize our true nature. We are meant to be free. I believe that is the gift of this wonderful film called The Matrix that Lily and Lana Wachowski created. Their film is a metaphor for the real Matrix we live in. And that's why it touched and thrilled the millions of people who saw it. It was a gift from the dreamer to its dream selves. Through the character of Neo, we experience a reminder of our divine nature and potential. It is a waking gift from the dreamer to the dreamed. So thank you, Lily and Lana, and welcome to the Matrix.